Good day and welcome. Today BTX is hosting Gefen for a review of their product showcase for 2012. This webinar is designed to help understand how to create advanced professional AV, home theater, and commercial deployments to improve business and simplify installations. I'm Kim Robbins, Senior Marketing Manager at BTX, and I'll be your host throughout this session. I'm joined by Mark Chernoff, Director of AV Sales Northeast for BTX, and Aaron Mathis, Training Director for Gefen. To make this as interactive as possible, please use the question area on your toolbar, and we will get to as many of them as we can throughout the next hour. For those of you who are live on this webinar, we have a special offer for you that we'll be announcing at the end of the webinar, which you won't want to miss. So let's dive in and review our agenda. BTX is the distributor and technical specialist for all Gefen products, and we're going to spend the majority of the next hour going through new Gefen product solutions, as well as a technical outlook briefing. As a reminder, when you work with BTX, you work with a team of people who take you beyond distribution. In addition to supplying many thousands of interface, integration, and systems products, we also engineer our own unique and patented solutions. We have a deep technical expertise with Gefen solutions, and our applications engineers and outside sales team are both available to help you specify, purchase, and then support your professional AV, home theater, and commercial needs. One of our core strengths is our commitment to education and technical support. We do everything from lunch and learns, to product demonstrations, to webinars like the one you are on today. BTX is committed to standing by our customers every step of the way. Our full product line offers thousands of products to make implementation of your projects run smoothly. Among the many key integration building blocks that we provide are custom cable assemblies, custom plates and panels, video extenders, signal distribution, and cable management. So now I'm going to hand this over to Aaron so that he can go through the presentation on Gefen's new products.
Thank you, Kim. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Gefen 2012 new product training. By the way, if you didn't get it, my name is Aaron Mathis, and it's great to work with BTX on making this product showcase a success. So before we jump into the actual products, let's talk a little bit about terminology. The first term I'd like to discuss is EDID, or EDID, Extended Display Identification Data. Now, EDID is extremely important when you're dealing with a digital display, a source such as like a Blu-ray player. EDID is going to be a data structure that's provided by this display to describe its capabilities to its source. The source requires you from the display to know what format the information is sent, and this format is as such. Supported video resolutions, color spaces, color depths, 3D formats, display size, name, and any other details such as your audio. So let's talk about EDID repeater devices and splitters. Now, there is a initialization that does take place. So in the case that you have maybe an AVR or a splitter in between the source device and display device, that device actually replaces the EDID. So number one, the display device generates a hot plug, and the AV receiver source side reads audio from the EDID of the display. Here's your AV receiver source side. The AV receiver incorporates its audio data into the EDID and is going to modify, possibly reducing, the video timing, and then forward it onto the source device. Now, once that AV receiver sync side forwards that EDID, the receiver generates a hot plug, and the source device reads the audio data from the EDID of the AV receiver sync side, thus allowing the source device to output the correct audio capabilities. So speaking of EDID, that's why Gefen has a solution in place called the HDMI and DVI detectives. Now, these devices actually store EDID. So what does that fix? Let's talk about that. Well, in the case that you have maybe a cable box, or even on the computer side, a laptop or desktop computer that seems to lose sync at odd times, for instance, if you're running through an AVR or you're running through any type of switcher or matrix, you would need a detective to actually store that EDID to maintain an active sync so that when you switch away from that computer, cable box, or your laptop, and then switch back, you do not lose sync. So a detective actually holds the syncs in place by storing the display's EDID information. Now, if you take a look here, we have these dip switches in which we store a generic EDID. So we've actually pre-programmed the boxes with a generic EDID. So detectives are incredibly popular with the Gefen product line because they are complete EDID management devices. So let's talk about HDCP, or High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. Now, HDCP is going to prevent any type of eavesdropping so that you can't copy that protected content. It's a hardware level of encryption, so any device that handles HDMI, such as a Blu-ray player or even a cable box, is going to have HDCP encryption. Before sending data, the transmitting device checks that the receiver is authorized to receive it. If so, it's going to encrypt the data to prevent eavesdropping as it flows to the receiver. Now, the transmitting device and the receiving device have its own set of keys. The actual transmitted key is called a KSV, or a key selection vector. Manufacturers who want to make a device that supports HDCP must obtain a license from Intel's subsidiary, Digital Content Protection, pay an annual fee, and submit to various conditions. We are fully HDCP compliant, and we also pay the fees in order to be with the DCP, or Digital Content Protection. Key revocation prevents devices that have been compromised and cloned from receiving the data. There is a list that's the HDCP key blacklist that's actually in the hardware of your, for instance, Blu-ray player. So if you have a key that's been blacklisted, your whole setup will not work until that device has been removed that's actually cloning and compromising that key. So let's talk about types of devices. With Gefen, over a high quality cable, we can take full 1080p, 30 feet, or 720p or 1080i up to 50 feet. After that distance, which amongst most manufacturers just over a standard cable, that's about as far as you can go, you would need, let's say, a super booster. So a high quality HDMI cable, and let's say you have a 75-foot cable, you can put a super booster on the end of that run and actually get the signal to go through. Now, if you have two long runs, we make a HDMI repeater so that you can go, let's say, 50 feet, HDMI repeater, and then 25 feet, and then you've got a working signal. The next level is Cat5e or Cat6a. Over Cat5e, we can actually take your full 1080p 60 plus your IR back channel with 3D support up to 330 feet over that single existing Cat5e that's already within your infrastructure. And then our next level, one of my personal favorite, is fiber. We sell quite a bit of fiber. We sell pre-terminated fiber kits, and you can go up to 2,000 meters. We can go HDMI at up to 1,000 feet over single SC fiber with IR back channel, as well as your RS-232. So let's take a look at our product lines. Gefen Classic is the first and sometimes I like to say the first and the greatest. That was the first product line that we ever had. And we saw that there was a need to kind of expand the product line, so we branded some new product lines such as your Gefen Pro, which is more for commercial and broadcast environments. And it's going to be our larger matrices with your integrated power supplies, as well as, in some cases, IP control and other advanced features. Gefen TV was for more the consumer and prosumer, and those devices are actually very popular. For instance, our Dolby Digital to analog audio converter is a Gefen TV device. Gefen Toolbox we created as a cost-effective solution for your common system integration situation. So we wanted the AV installer to have a solution that they can actually bring into a job, set up very quickly, have a very modular design, and allow them to be able to have the advanced functionality at a very attractive price point. And then there's Gefen Digital Signage, and now we have a new product category called Gefen Automation. So we're not talking about the digital signage or automation today. We're focusing on our core product. So let's start with extension. These are existing Gefen extenders, but I like to just make a point of showcasing these because we find that a lot of installers don't know we actually make these basic extenders. So I'll start with the USB 2.0 LR. This unit will allow you to take your USB up to 330 feet, single Cat 5e. You do power both ends, but it's one of the only USB 2.0 extenders on the market that actually works well with the Connect as well as your Apple computers. The RS-232 extender is also a very popular solution. The sender unit actually powers the receiver unit, and we can take your RS-232 up to 1,000 feet away. Our VGA extender SR is the short range. It goes up to 150 feet. And once again, the sender unit does power the receiver unit. And then we have our VGA LR that goes 330 feet, and the sender unit also powers the receiver unit. Our audio converters, under the Gefen TV name, we have the digital audio to analog adapter. That's our basic 2-channel D to A. So it's going to take 2-channel optical or your digital coax and make it an analog out, left-right stereo. The digital audio decoder is slightly different in that it takes your 5.1 signal and down mixes it to 2-channel. So it takes your Dolby Digital, does not work with your DTS, and it'll take it to 2-channel analog. We also offer analog to digital audio adapters to take 2-channel audio to 2-channel digital, and then our digital audio translator, which will take your optical or your coax and come out vice versa, but we also leave both active on the output, so you can also utilize it for multi-zone audio. Now, one of the most common uses for the digital audio decoder is with Apple TV setups. We get a lot of customers who buy these to actually take the optical out of the Apple TV and go left-right for zone 2 of your receiver, which in many cases only has analog audio inputs, for whole home or business distribution of the audio. The Gefen Toolbox extender for HDMI 3D TV. Talked slightly about this unit on an earlier slide, but this will take your HDMI over an existing Cat 5e that's already in the wall up to 330 feet away, and we also have IR back channel built in. It's going to support 3D TV just as well as it supports the full 1080p 60 signal. Now, the whole Gefen Toolbox line is going to support 3D out of the box. Okay. Now, the ELR actually takes your HDMI and 3D TV up to 330 feet. It's going to support your full 1080p 60, but it also has an Ethernet in and an Ethernet out. So, problem solution scenario. I've got a business that has pre-existing network cable. It's an older business. We only have one Cat5e in the walls, but I've been using that Cat5e for networking up to this point, and I need audio and video as well. I don't want to lose that Cat5e for the networking capability, so I use the ELR solution to not only take audio and video, but we can also take 100 base T Ethernet along that single link line, as well as your IR back channel. Okay.
Aaron, we have a question.
Okay.
Do you have an audio de-embedder for HDMI?
Yes, we do. It's actually not in this presentation, but we do have an HDMI audio de-embedder, and it's on the website. And you would just look under the converter section, and it's HDMI to HDMI plus audio. So we actually do have one that you can plug in an HDMI. It's going to extract the audio. You can do up to 7.1 surround via analog, or you can have your optical coming out, and then all of the outputs are active as long as everything is supported on the HDMI bus. So yes, we do have a full solution for that, and it's both in our catalog as well as on Gefen.com. All right, good question. Continuing on. The dual link DVI fiber optic extender. Now, one of the things I noticed when I started doing more trade shows, every trade show I go to, the new solutions out there for displays are going to be your 4K displays. Well, as soon as we noticed at Gefen that there was a need for an extension solution for that, especially on the government side, because government generally jumps into the new technology very quickly, we created a fiber optic dual link DVI extender that also is going to support HDCP pass-through. It's going to support your resolutions at up to 3840 by 2400, and it's very compact. So it's a sender and receiver module, and they are not passive. They are powered. Okay. The fiber interface that it uses is an SC multi or single mode fiber. Okay. The extender for HDMI with POL. First of all, POL is power over line or power over Ethernet. This unit will extend your IR, HDMI, RS-232, Ethernet, and your power 330 feet over one Cat5e cable. If you take a look here at the HD base T logo, that is a technology for taking multiple signals over a single Cat5e. It was created by Valence Semiconductor. Now, we were the first company to jump on board with HD base T, and we have the best price solutions out on the market right now. Okay, so this unit will actually take your power, IR, RS-232, Ethernet channel, and your HDMI video and audio 330 feet away over a single link line. The sender unit powers the receiver unit, and we give you 5 volts power output. So you've got a power output to power perhaps maybe a digital signage creator or another Gefen switch if you should have something with 5 volts, 2 amps that could be powered by the receiver unit. Okay. The POL2
Aaron, I'm sorry.
introduces also. Go ahead.
Aaron, okay, we have many questions that have come in, so you want to take a break and start answering a couple?
Okay, let's go ahead and answer
Okay.
these questions.
Can you use the digital audio products with consumer TVs that have digital audio out that I need to go to an external speaker with analog audio, red and white inputs? What exact product should I use?
It's actually a very popular use for that unit because TVs have now taken the analog audio off, especially all of your new TVs. We sell those for precisely that purpose. So yes, you could use that device for that. Okay, next question.
Okay. Does Geffen make a DMX Cat5 extender?
I'm sorry, a DMX?
Yeah. Yes, DMX.
I haven't heard of that display technology. So what's the interface? Is it, you mean DVI?
They said DMX, but why don't we, maybe we can take that one offline, and then we'll go to the next question. Your transmitter and receivers are sold as a pair under one SKU.
Yes, they are.
DMX
for the pair, and we give you both power supplies as well as the input cable.
Okay.
Yeah, Aaron, the question regarding is regarding DMX lighting, and do you have an extender for DMX lighting control?
No, we don't.
Okay, and I think this is the last question for right now. Do you have an HDMI that can distribute one signal to 6 TVs?
Yes, we do. We have either your 1x4 Gefen toolbox or your 1x8. So the price point would be roughly about the same as far as what you would pay for 1x6. So I would suggest just using the 1x8. I'm going to talk about that actually in a few slides. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think we're good to go on. Thanks.
All right. Okay, great. So the POL2 is going to introduce the local auto switching HDMI in. So problem solution scenario. Let's look at a dental office. Back at the rack, you might have a Blu-ray player or some type of digital signage solution. Well, at the front office, you want to be able to allow the kids to maybe play an Xbox or have a DVD player where they put the kids' video that they select in, and you don't want to have them switch the input of the TV at all times because it can get kind of confusing for younger people. So you set this box up, and when the Xbox or maybe the DVD player is off, it's going to be here at the rack. So the source at the rack is going to be active. Whenever you do plug in the Xbox, or excuse me, turn it on, it'll automatically switch the local HDMI in, and you'll be able to play the Xbox. Once you turn it off, it automatically switches back to what's at the rack. So it's very seamless. It's easy to work with. So POL, once again, is power over line. Okay. So the Gefen Pro ELR extender for HDMI with POL is a device that utilizes this technology. So it's just power over Ethernet. HD-based was introduced as a consumer technology, but we've seen it really start to move over to commercial. Those devices that we're using that actually do the POL and the HD-based are mainly for a commercial job. So you're talking uncompressed, full HD digital video, 100 base T Ethernet, power over cable, and different control signals up to USB actually. So single Cat5e or Cat6a cable. Now, here's a caveat. If you decide you need a little bit more distance and you utilize a Cat6 augmented cable, you'll be able to actually, with a firmware update we're working on, take any POL or ELR solution or even the 3D TV technology up to 450 feet away over a single Cat6a. Okay? Now, once again, HD-based T is based on a chip technology created by Valence Semiconductor. And currently there are products out on the market, but Gefen was the first, and I like to say we have the most rock solid solution that's HD-based T on the market. Okay? Our new wireless extender for HDMI, this is the short-range version. So we can take your HDMI signals up to 80 feet through walls. We're utilizing 5 gigahertz technology, and we're supporting up to 1080p 60. Now, we currently have solutions on the market that are actually very popular, but we saw that the technology was kind of coming down in price, so we're introducing these at a lower price point. So this is the short range, 80 feet, and then our long range is going to be up to 100 feet and through walls. Okay.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
This is a
Aaron?
Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in on that wireless HDMI. I was recently at NAB and saw this actually working there, and it really looks good. The price is right. It actually has one unique feature I just wanted to point out. You can actually put 3 transmitters to 1 receiver. So you can have 3 sources, and the unit comes with a remote control that allows you to switch between the sources, which makes it really cool. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at NAB also, we had our GAVA and our PAC set up too, which is our automation, and that was very popular. Even though we're not talking about it right now, you can find it on Gefen.com too. Okay, so great.
You know what, Aaron? We also had a question come in, so why don't we take a moment? Do you have an HD-based T switcher?
I'm going to go over that in just a second. So yes, we do. Switcher with HD-based T valence on the output. So we have some in the slides here. Great questions, guys. It shows you listening. Thank you so much.
One more.
Aaron, we have one more.
Okay.
What about?
They're asking about the wireless HDMI, if it can go the other way, multiple receivers from 1 transmitter. And I know at this point you don't have that, but I know it's something that they were working on for the 2nd generation version.
Yes, that's something we are working on. You have to remember also the wireless HDMI, I did not mention that it is not currently shipping. We're actually still working on the units, looking at summertime for those to be actually shipping. So they could have that capability depending on whether we can get the technology built into it. Okay, so the Advanced Mini Signal Generator for HDMI with 3D. This unit has 25 timing tests, as well as 6 patterns for your pattern generation, and it has 1 3D pattern. Now the really cool thing about this, and I love this about this unit, is it will actually show how many HDCP keys the source device supports. Why is that important? Well, for instance, if I buy, let's say, a Marantz Blu-ray player, well, with their high-end Blu-ray players, those devices only support, let's say, 3 keys. If I'm on a job and I try to hook it up to 4 different displays, it wouldn't work. So how do you tell how many HDCP keys a manufacturer device supports? Well, Gefen came out with the only solution on the market to be able to display how many keys that source device supports via this small little LCD here. So it's going to show you how many keys that source device supports. Okay. The Gefen 1080p scaler is a really good solution to use if you're using a matrix splitter or even just a regular splitter and you need to integrate maybe a 720p projector. It will actually take full 1080p and downscale it to a 720p so that you don't have to run all the devices at 720p off that splitter or off that matrix. Additionally, it'll take, let's say, a cable box, which only can output up to 1080i. It'll deinterlace it, clean up the picture, and make it full 1080p. So why would somebody want something like this? Well, firstly, if the customer maybe doesn't have an AVR that does upscaling, and they bought a very high-end projector, and they want that cable box to display at full 1080p, you would use one of these scalers. Okay. The VGA with audio to HDMI scaler. This unit is primarily aimed at your boardrooms as well as your education. These market segments need to be able to take a VGA laptop, for instance. I come in the boardroom and I hook it to an HD display via VGA. What happens is a lot of times you don't get the correct resolution and you get picture shift. So this unit actually plugs into the VGA from your laptop. It's going to automatically find the native resolution of the display, make sure the picture is correctly centered, and it's going to sharpen the text for PowerPoint. So this is a very popular device for boardroom integration projects. The AV conference room scaler is going to allow you to take multiple inputs. You have two components, one VGA, one DVI-I, so it handles analog and digital DVI, one DVI-D, and your HDMI in. It's going to upscale it to full 1080p, as well as offer you the amplified audio so that you can run some basic speakers in your boardroom. These are very popular for boardroom integration. So FST. FST is a Gefen software implementation for all of our HDMI 1.3 products. We're actually in the process of updating these products to support the full FST capability. Now, when it comes to switchers, FST is going to allow you to switch the HDMI in 3 seconds or less. So almost instantaneous switching of the HDMI signal. When you're using it with a splitter, it's going to actually allow you to hold hot plug so that if you have to actively disconnect one of the displays, the other displays don't have to blink and redo the HDCP handshake. Okay? It's also going to hold the HDCP keys so that in the case that I need to turn off one of the displays, the other displays don't have to re-handshake because we're storing the HDCP keys. So we created FST because HDMI switching time was too slow for many of our customers, and we needed the faster switching time without the side effects of picture flickering between switches. So our 1x4 and our 1x8 splitter, as you see here, have advanced EDIT management. We built in an onboard EDIT with 2-channel and multi-channel audio support, as well as fast or slow switching. Now, one of the biggest questions I get is, why do you have slow switching built onto your products? Well, older displays have trouble with the fast switching. So just in case you're integrating older displays, we've actually made sure that we included the slow switching. So once again, this is a splitter, but it does have the FST technology because remember, we're holding the hot plug as well as your HDCP keys. It's also got the locking power, the locking HDMI connectors, the Gefen monolock system, as well as the USB upgradable firmware so you can do it from the road. Matrix switchers, we have a 4x2 HDMI matrix that's very popular. And then our 4x4 with the flash switching is extremely popular because we give you manual switching, IR, as well as your RS-232. We also have an IRI that can come out, and then you can use the IRI to actually be able to switch the matrix. Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know what a matrix is, it's any 4 to any 4 any way you want it. So I can do, let's say, input number 1 to all 4 outputs, or let's say input number 2 to output number 4, input number 4 to output number 3, however I want to do it. Our new 8x8 for HDMI with FST and 3D is now an 8x8 matrix with fast switching technology. It's going to have all of your control options, so you'll have your IR manual switching or your RS-232, but we also now have integrated IP control, so you can actually switch with the IP, and it's got the mini USB for field upgrades. Our current matrix, if you need a rack mount solution, is the 8x8 cross-point matrix for HDMI. This one's going to also have the FST technology, and it's a basic 8x8 matrix. And this is what I like to call the Big Daddy. This is the 32 by 32 cross-point DVI matrix. It's a full EDID management matrix. You can upload custom EDIDs or utilize different EDIDs for inputs and outputs. It's also got the IP control, RS-232, redundant power supplies, and it's a modular base frame. So you can take in inputs and outputs and configure it however you need. So in this case, this is the module board for the 8X DVI Cat5 ELR with POL sender that's actually going to take your DVI signal up to 330 feet off of each one of these outputs, and it's going to offer the power over Ethernet technology so you don't have to power these little receiver units. We're looking at 330 feet, single Cat5e, or with the firmware upgrade, 450 feet of Cat6a. We also did a fiber module that allows you to take your DVI up to 1,640 feet over a single SC fiber to these receiver units. And as you can see, you do have to power the receiver units when you utilize fiber. So it has the redundant hot swappable power supplies, fanny module, and your filter module. Here's an example of our IP control. So you can switch via IP. You can actually mask the outputs as well as configure your IP configuration. The 8x8 matrix for HDMI with 4 HDMI outputs and 4 ELR POL. This was an earlier question, and this unit actually does it with 4 HDMI outputs, but then it has 4 Cat5 POL outputs. So at NAB, we also had the 8x8 matrix that we're introducing with 8 Cat5 POL outputs, as well as your bidirectional IR. So we've got all 3 versions. We've got an 8x8 matrix with just HDMI. We've got an 8x8 matrix with 4 HDMI and 4 Cat5 ELR, as well as an 8x8 matrix with all 8 ELR Cat5 outputs. This also has your RS-232, your IP control, and IR. Okay. Any questions? We are right on time, actually.
We sure are. So I am now unmuted. So I want to make sure that as everybody knows, the audio is not great when both you and I are unmuted. So I am going to make myself a presenter. Okay. Great. Okay. Aaron, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, so we're going to have a webinar special for all the products that you went through with us today, Aaron. Free shipping. So you must have attended the webinar live. It's featured products from this webinar only, and we're ending it on June 6th. Now, a lot of the products that you talked about aren't available until the summer. So when those products become available, we'll certainly extend that for 30 days from the date of availability. And we will be continuing to update everybody on when these products will be available.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
So next up, we're going to be doing a pre-show InfoComm webinar on Thursday, June 7th. Thursday, June 7th, and we'll be featuring many of the products you learned about today at InfoComm in our booth number C7342. Okay, now I have to escape out of this for a second. Okay, so I want to make sure that we get some questions answered. So does Gefen have a Thunderbolt product?
That's one of the biggest questions we get. We do not have any Thunderbolt products yet. We actually have many DisplayPort products and DisplayPort products, and we are in the process of looking at if we're going to do Thunderbolt products. Right now, Thunderbolt is an Apple-only solution, and we are known for having really good Apple solutions. So we're looking and trying to get a Thunderbolt solution underway.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
While we're looking at answering some more questions, let me just throw out that BTX does have outside sales support throughout the United States. So if there's a specific product that you'd like to see a demo on, or have somebody come in and talk to you about it, you can get in touch with us at info@btx.com, and we'll put you in touch with your technical outside sales representative and answer any questions in person if needed.
Thank you, Mark. Does HDMI cable carry RS-232 or IR control to operate the TV? If so, does the 8x8 matrix pass this?
Well, HDMI does carry CEC. So CEC control could be an option that you could use, which is Consumer Electronics Control. But natively, just RS-232 pairing along with HDMI, no, it doesn't do that. So if you're utilizing the CEC control, which installers everywhere can tell you they pretty much hate, it will take that, but it will not take native RS-232 control. Now, as far as IR, a lot of our solutions are going to have the IR back channel.
Okay, are there any cable boxes that use the USB wireless transmitter?
Well, the cable box wouldn't use a USB wireless transmitter. We would use out of the HDMI the wireless little dongle, and then it goes to the receiver unit. I believe what you might be referring to is Intel's new technology for your computer to go to a display with either the dongle and your computer has the Intel technology built in, but that's not on the home theater side. So in order to get wireless from your cable box, it's never going to be built in, and there's not a USB device. It's going to come out of the HDMI, at least with the Gefen.
Okay, great. We'll give another second to see if we get any more questions in, and we're right on time. Aaron, I wanted to thank you very much for working with BTX today. I know that I learned quite a bit, so I'm getting prepared for InfoComm. So I know in the future we'd like to do something on the Gefen digital signage solution as well. So.
No problem at all. Just remember, please, guys, take a look at Gefen.com. If you look underneath the actual browser navigation menu and look at new products, we have all of the new products laid out so you can see what new products we have. And then we're also definitely big into digital signage now, and we've actually deployed a brand new digital signage web page in which we explain digital signage. We have YouTube videos as well, and if you go to our portal and click the YouTube link at the top, you'll be able to take a look at some of our YouTube videos showcasing products as well.
Great, Aaron. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody on the call today for spending the 45 minutes with us. If you have any questions, feel free, like Mark said, info@btx.com.